Hi family, good morning. There is this true life story of mine that I've been meaning to share with you people. In 2019, I visited my husband. Back then we were in a relationship, we were not married. And then before I got back to Ghana, he proposed. So we had actually spoken about marriage, but we had not planned when exactly or I didn't know he was going to propose, so he proposed, and then after that we sat down and we spoke about it, and then I knew that we were going to get married in 2020. So in 2020, my husband was supposed to come to Ghana in February, and the plan was that he was going to leave in March. So we had it planned that when my husband gets to Ghana, we would actually book an appointment at the embassy together, so that right after we get married, we go for the interview together, because we've heard from a few people that usually when you go together, it makes the process for the family reunion visa very easy. So we decided that we were going to do that. So my husband got to Ghana in February, and then we got married end of February. So right after we got married, we decided to check the embassy website for an appointment date for me and my husband, like, so that we are able to go for the interview together before he comes back to Germany. When we went on the website, we realized that there was no available dates in March. Mind you, I had visited my husband on 2 different occasions, and getting the appointment for the visa was easy, like it was really easy. So we never knew that a family reunion appointment or visa process was something difficult to get. That's why we didn't actually book it ahead of time. So I remember that was on the 29th, no, on the 1st of March. I cried a lot. I was so sad. I was devastated. I cried. My husband also was so sad for me. He cried, but at the end of the day, he consoled me. So there was this friend that I knew who knew much about this appointment stuff. I called her and she was like, you know what? Book the next available appointment, because if you wait, the longer you wait, it will be very difficult, because then when you open up the website again, it goes on and on and on. So we booked the available appointment, which was on the 6th of June. Least I forget, we had or I had gotten or heard a lot from friends who were already at the embassy that usually when you go for the family reunion visa appointment, it takes approximately 6 months to get your visa. So in my own mind, I thought, okay, then when we go for the appointment in March, at latest in September, if you do the calculation, I should be in Germany. And now I am going for the appointment in June, which basically makes it I should get the visa around December. That is, like, as human as I am, that is all what I was thinking about. And I was sad, and I was just tired of the long distance, and I wanted it to be done with, and that was it. So I booked the appointment actually for the 6th of June. And mind you, as soon as I booked the appointment, I think it was like a week or 2 later, there was lockdown. So that was COVID, but back then Ghana was still, everything was okay. And then I think we had our first case or so, and then Ghana was locked down, which basically meant that my husband couldn't go back to Germany. We were together actually from March until May, ending of May, when we heard that some of the Ghanaian people who were from Germany and they were stuck in Ghana had decided to organize a flight that would take them back to Germany. So my husband decided to join that flight. And then I sent him to the airport. I bid him farewell and goodbye. And then I got back home. Back then I was at Koforidua. When I got home in the evening, I think around 6 p.m. or so, my husband texted me and he was like, you know what, I'm not going anymore. And I'm like, why are you not going anymore? And he said, because the flight, they said there is a fault or something that they are trying to fix, and it is taking about 2 hours. We are still stuck in the flight. We are on board, but we are still stuck there. I just don't feel comfortable about all these, and I don't feel comfortable flying. So I just want to come home. So I remember I called back then my landlord and I told him, Agbeko, you know what, please, can you pick my husband from the airport and meet us at Medina? And I needed to take the next available car from Kufuridua to Medina to pick him up. So I picked him up and then we went back to Kufuridua. And that means that was the end of April. I think it was the 30th or 31st of April or so was that. And my husband was in Ghana for about 2 weeks more before he got the next available flight, which basically brings us back to the
se enkoma yetie eyewoda wadaroma bomodien se ubemie adekoko ne so subscribe button no like video no kire wadwene comment section no ase ne like video no eno ni ade a mobetimi di aboa dwumadi a yedi no true stories Caesar show umiento nkomo ne so hit
available flight, which basically brings us back to the appointment day that I wanted to go with my husband in March. Like, as human that as I was, like, I was so sad, I was devastated, and in my own plans I felt like, no, I should have gotten this appointment in March so that I get a visa in September at least. Little did I know that God was planning something else. He was working for me. And that means like my husband didn't travel with this flight and he came back home, so we could go for the appointment together in June. So we went there on the 6th of June for the appointment, and then after that he traveled back to Germany. And do you know what happened? In June, the lockdown, I remember vividly that the lockdown was actually lifted or beginning of June. I am not so clear. But when it was lifted, it meant that the embassy could work again, because before then I didn't know if I could even go for the interview in June because there was lockdown. As soon as it was lifted, the embassy wrote on their website that anyone, like all those who couldn't, who booked their appointment from March when there was the lockdown until the beginning of June, should rebook a new appointment because they couldn't work and they couldn't let those people come before. So it means that they were starting to work again on the new appointment starting from June. And after I went for the interview on the 6th of June, before my birthday in August, that was before 20th of August, I was called by the embassy to bring my passport for my visa. And I had a wedding that I wanted to attend in Ghana, so that means I could have even left in August or so, but I decided to leave in September. That means the September that I was reeling about, I was thinking about, I even got my visa before that September, and I decided to leave in September. Why am I saying this? One might ask, why are you bringing this up? Why are you saying this? I was there today when it came, and I was thinking about it a lot, and I was like, as humans as we are, sometimes we believe in our own calendar, we believe in our own timing instead of believing in God's timing. When the timing is not right for us, we are sad, we cry, and we do stuff. And I'm saying this to encourage someone. There is somebody here who must hear this, or who needs to hear this. The fact that you are not getting whatever you are praying for or you are looking for doesn't mean that you are not going to get it. God is always on time. The problem is that we always have our timetable set for God, and we want God to follow our timetable. Just that He has His own time, and His times are always the best. Imagine if I had gotten the appointment in March like I wanted, I was wailing about. There was a lockdown. I wouldn't have been able to go for this interview, which basically means I would have had to rebook the appointment after the lockdown was lifted in June, which basically makes it very difficult because then all those load from March till June, all those people were going to look for appointments, which makes it very, very difficult to get an appointment, which basically means I wouldn't have known when exactly I would have even gotten the next available appointment. It was God's timing for me, this particular issue. And this thing, whenever I think about it, whenever I'm going through any difficult situation that I don't understand, that it doesn't make sense at all, this particular thing that happened to me comes in mind. And I am always like, oh, I just need to trust in God's timing. I will say this last few words and then end this video. When it comes to us and God, it's like a mother who takes a fresh tilapia from the fridge and decide, okay, I want to grill it, I want to cook it or fry it, whatever for the family. When the mother picks this fresh tilapia from the fridge, the baby that the mother has, a child like 2 years old, 3 years old, who does not understand the process, does not understand what the mom is doing, cries and say, I want fish. No matter how much the child cries, no matter how much they will, no matter what they do, just to get the mother's attention to give them the fish for their own safety, for their own protection. I bet there is nowhere this mother is going to give this fish to the child. And no matter how much the child cries, when the mother takes her time and cook this fish, remove all the bones and give it to the child, they eat it with happiness, forgetting that they ever cried. That is the same way God is working with us. There are certain things that we really want to have. There are certain businesses, the child that you really want to have, the job interview that you really want to go for, the travel door that you really want it to be open to you. All these things, sometimes if God gives it to us prematurely, it ends up ending us, it ends up hurting us. And we, as human as we are, we have our own timetable. Like I said, I want this to be done by the end of the month, by the close of the week, by the close of the day, by the close of the hour. But God sees this and He knows it is going to hurt us. He knows what is ahead of us. And for that reason, He wants to prevent us from going through such situations, such circumstances that will hurt us. He sees from afar that we cannot see. At the end of the day, when He takes His time to build you up in faith, to build you up in prayers, to build you up in whatsoever that He is preparing for you, when it is done, you will enjoy the blessing with full happiness. So I'm saying this to encourage anyone who is looking for the fruits of the womb, looking for a job, looking for a travel opportunity, looking for money, financial breakthrough, whatsoever you are going through today, anyone who is depressed, whatsoever you are going through today, I want to tell you that God is always on time and His timetable is always the best. Keep praying, keep believing, keep waiting, and trust me, when His time comes, sometimes it's so short because he's the Bible says that He is the Lord who can compress years, many years into days, into hours. So keep believing, keep trusting in God. He's never late, He's always on time. I love you. Keep believing. God is God and He's got us. Have a lovely day, beautiful people.
We are Simonsem Edoso, Ebusia. We dear ya brabo munkomo. Efutu sem. Wada Roma. Subscribe. We dear Mama Suma, Mama Tie, Mubefa Maba, Namonso dia Bomo Bra. Yanka so bijuma bonia odi ye no. And I say no me bianco ye amano. Fasa kwane so. There be. It is story see, Caesar so ye de bremo. Said dear, abrabo munsem no man kuye munsu mefa mu aba. Educative stories. Na yenso ye de aboye bra. Ye be before die. And wade enko ana kire se. Esie. Oba said dear make an wada Roma. Dwumadie yi de mbetimi aya ne se mon subscribe, mon like, mon share ma adwene e wo comment section no ase. Yeda mase bebrebe wo hwe video no wo like ya, wo share ya, wo share wadwin e wo comment section ase. We love you guys. Ye don bebrebe, ye din besia. Bye bye.